Okay, so campercar 2.0. A lot of lessons were learnt from the first campercar we did, or that I did. First of all, the inflatable mattress idea, well, it was a good idea. It kind of didn't work because the inflatable mattresses were cheap and they got cold, and to be honest, they deflated quite quickly. So that idea has been scrapped. I've finally done what I should have done in the first place. And in this video, I'm going to go through everything that I've changed for the next campercar idea. So this is going to be campercar 2.0. Now the first thing I've got, if I show you down here, I've got a piece of plywood that I'm currently sat on. That's 9mm plywood. I know 9mm is a bit thin for a bed, but I'm supporting it with this old Euro hike bed I've got. I've put the metal bars inside the canvas here, and I'm going to screw that down to the plywood to make a nice firm base. That will actually give the support underneath. They only need to be little screws because it only has to hold the bars in place. It doesn't have to hold anything down. The next thing I'm going to do on top of the mattress, the platform, is this old camping mat. I'm going to put that on top to create a nice soft and thermal layer. And then I've got a memory foam camping mattress to put on top of that. Now the other thing that's going to change is the cooking system we used. The cooking system I had was a pretty poor system. The old alcohol stove there wasn't brilliant. So we'll come on to that later. Now the other thing I've done, I've got some of my wife's old shelving here, which I've actually cut the top off. And that's created a nice solid base to put in the boot for this setup to stand on. Now, I don't think my wife will notice the top part of her shelves missing, but that'll be perfect for putting on top of my for putting this platform on top of to create a nice level base inside the car. Now, I did think of using the second parcel shelf in place, but it's just a couple of inches too high, so you end up tilted back. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to screw these bars down, and then we're going to get the staple gun out. I'm going to staple the material into place so it's nice and solid, and then we'll come on to the foam mattress. Okay, so the first thing I've actually done is marked out where the holes are in the bars, and I've created a little punch hole about 2mm deep, just to get the screw into, because the screws are pretty small. It is only 9mm plywood, so I've had to use pretty small screws for that. But if I just show you, as you see, I've marked off where the holes are in the board, and I've created a little hole which I'm going to screw the screw into. I'm going to do one side first, and then we'll come on to the other side. Do exactly the same thing. I'm going to screw that down. I don't think I need to bore you with the process. You know how to screw into a hole. I'll come back to you when that's actually finished. Okay, so now the hard part's done. Anybody who's put one of these sort of camp beds up before, they know it can be a bit of a faff. Now where the legs would normally go, that's where I've actually put the screws. Now if you're thinking that those little 6mm screws I've used aren't going to hold much, all they have to do is hold the bars in place, and the canvas bed is helping with that. What I'm going to go do now is go around it with the staple gun. I'm going to jet some staples in. That'll hold the fabric nice and firmly in place. None of this is going to be load bearing. In fact, this is going to be underneath. I've used 9mm plywood simply because it'll keep the weight down. I've used this old bed and the metal bars to add structural integrity to the plywood. Now I'm using the fabric not only to hold the bars in place, but I'm also using that to protect my car when I slide this into place. So I'm going to go around it now and staple the fabric down, and then we'll come on to the other side, which will be the foam, the old foam mat, and I'll explain why I'm doing that. Now the next part is this foam camping mat, which I'm going to put on the. I'm going to put this on the bed. I'm going to staple it down because that's going to create not only a soft base on the mattress, but it'll create a firmer layer underneath the mattress as well. Now I have got a memory foam mattress, which I'll come on to later, which will sit on top of the old board, but this is where you'll lay, and this will be nice and warm. Now if I bring you a bit closer, as you can see, I've got about 1.5 inch overhang here. I'm going to fold that around and I'm going to staple that down too. Now the reason I've left that rather than cutting it off, again, it will protect the inside of my car, and it just adds a bit of extra sturdiness to the overall design of the mat or the pad. So let's get that stapled down now. So I'm going to have to staple this end down, which means just curling it over and just getting the staples in. I'll do about 6, maybe 8 staples. That will give me just a little bit of foam backing up against the car seat, which will protect the inside of my car nicely. So I'm going to get that done now. Simply putting the stapler there, brace it down, and fire it in. So that's the bed done. I have to admit, it's actually reasonably comfortable, and the mat is really warm underneath. But if it were just the staples on its own and me on top of the mat, me moving around in the night would tear the mat up. That is not how it's going to be. So what we need to do next, we need to get it in the car, get it set up how it's going to be, and get the camping mattress on it. Okay, so first things first with this new setup is to put the my wife's old bookshelves in the boot, so it will actually support the bed base. Now there are naturally things in the boot that I don't use all the time, but I do want to keep in there. I'm going to use this as a storage box for those things. So let's get that bit set up first. So now we've got that simple setup, it's just a case of getting the bed, sliding it on, and making sure it all fits. So there we go. We've got the bed board set in. It is nice and solid. It will easily take my weight. Obviously, when I set up as a proper camper car, I'm going to take that partial shelf out. One thing you will notice straight away is that this setup is much lower than the inflatable one, which came up to the windowsill. That means I'm going to have a lot more room to sit. It means I'm going to have a lot more headroom. Next thing is this, which I've literally only just taken out the wrapping. This is a camping memory foam cot mattress. It's designed for basically small cots that are about the width of that bed that I used at the beginning of the video to actually make the base for this bed in the first place. I'm just going to roll that out. That's simply going to lay on there like that. That is about 3 inches thick when it's fully inflated. Now at the moment it is memory foam, so it is still expanding. I have only just taken it out its packaging. That's gonna take about 48 hours to fully expand. But you can see the mattress is quite wrinkly. When it's fully expanded, that'll be pulled quite tight. So in the next 48 hours or so, that will actually be a functional mattress. Being 3 inches thick and having the soft padding underneath means that's going to be a nice, firm but comfortable base to sleep on. Then I'll just put a pillow on top and my sleeping bag. That's nice and simple for the new setup. It's going to be a much better setup, a much more comfortable setup. It already feels more comfortable. I'm looking forward to getting out in it. In the next bit, I'm going to talk you through the other changes that I've actually made to the camper car setup, because they are quite big changes. I've got a few new items that I'm going to go through with you. So the first takeaway I had from the first camper car attempt was space. Space is vital. Now, I know that goes without saying, it shouldn't need saying, but you don't think about it until you're actually in the field doing something. My cooking setup was an issue. The alcohol stove that I was using was far from efficient. It wasn't very good, so I've actually bought myself a much better system. This is the Fire Maple. This is the Fire Maple cooking stove, and this is Fire Maple's equivalent of Jetboil. Now this 500ml pot, actually might be 750ml. Yep, 750ml. This 750ml pot clips nicely on there. It's nice and stable, and that just screws onto the gas canister. You simply turn it on and ignite it. Now this, according to the website, this will boil water. It will boil this full of water in about 100 seconds. I don't quite believe those specs, but it'll do it far faster than the alcohol stove, and what's more, it all packs into itself quite nicely and into the bag that comes with it. That is one of the biggest takeouts that I had from my first attempt. I've also got myself a new cutlery, knife, fork, teaspoon and a spoon. Nice simple little camping setup. That's better than faffing with the folding ones I have. They're lightweight, small. They can go either on my camping trips with the tent or in the car quite easily, as can the Fire Maple. Now this is a somewhat genius idea of mine. It's a simple 500ml bottle, and that will be enough to store in it a can of soup. That can of soup can go in that, and it can stand in the pot. That is heat resistant enough that I can actually cook the soup boiling in the pot rather than making the pan dirty. Which means as soon as I've finished with the water, I can make a brew with it. All about efficiency, this new setup. And that will make it a lot more efficient, because once I've finished eating my soup or beef stew or whatever else to take with me and boil up in the pan, in the cup, I don't have to simply put water in the cup, shake it out and empty it. That's what gets dirty, the stove doesn't. Which means food doesn't burn onto the stove. I don't have to wash the pans while I'm out in the field. It makes for a much better setup. The next item is water. You may have noticed in the back before there's bottles of water I have in there. Well, from now on I'm going to be carrying these. These are 8 litre pouches of water. Simply fill them with water, screw the top back on, you got a little tap there to use the water. When you're not using them, they fold up into a nice handy little size. It's all about space, all about size and weight saving. And this new setup is going to be a lot better for the next trip. Okay, so I've just taken down campercar 2.0. Thoughts: I may get a piece of the wood and just put on the back of the back seat, so when it's folded down, it does protect the back when I'm climbing over it a bit. But so far I'm pretty happy with the way the new camping setup's going to turn out. Obviously, one of the major things I'm going to do still is use my curtains. They'll still be used on the surroundings. I think that's about it really. Now, fold down and fold up times. It took me a good 3/4 of an hour to set up the camper car the first time with the inflatable mattresses. I'd never done it before. It was the first time. So yeah, it took a while, and breaking it down wasn't quick either. Breaking it down and folding all the gear away took nearly an hour. Now with this setup, apart from the beginning of the video where I actually made the bed, literally made the bed, it's a simple case of sliding the wood in. The longest job is actually bringing all the gear to the car. Setting up the bed takes literally about 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes max. So putting it in, folding out the bed, making the bed, sticking the pillow and everything on it, you're talking about 5 minutes max. Breaking it down is just as quick. It takes about 10 minutes to break down and take all the gear out of the car to put in the house. That's no time at all. That makes getting out in the car far easier for me. It makes getting out in the field for my future videos far easier. So I am looking forward to trying the new system out, which I will be doing in about a week's time from the point where I'm making this video. These videos will obviously be going out in March, but yeah, I've got some great plans for this setup. Now, there are still lessons to be learnt. There are still things that I can do to make it more efficient. You will notice that the actual wood is wider than the mattress. I can't make the wood any thinner that way without compromising its integrity, because it's only 9mm thick. To make it any thinner, I would have to go for 12mm plywood or higher. But the future version of the setup, I might actually get all the wood necessary to make a complete bed that will fold up and fold into the car. The problem I've got is that it's not universal. It's only suitable for this car. So if I ever change this car, I'd have to do it all over again. So I need to find a way to make a more universal bed system. But for now, I'm not planning on getting rid of this car anytime soon, so this car should be sufficient, and that new bed system should be sufficient. I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing how it goes. More importantly, I'm looking forward to trying the new cooking system out to see if that makes more efficiency in the field. Another major thing that I'm going to change, which by the time I can actually do it, probably isn't going to matter as much for this part of the year, but it's to get a jackery or something similar. At least a 500, maybe 1,000 watt power station. Not only can I charge that up by solar power, I can also charge it up on the car, I can charge it up at home, but more importantly, when I'm out in the field, I can charge things like my drone batteries, my camera batteries, anything else I need to charge up, and most importantly, I can run a heater inside the car. You can get a small 500 watt heater that should be more than sufficient to heat this space up, but the one thing I do notice in the winter, it does get incredibly cold in here. This is designed to be a car, it's not designed to be a camper. So I think that's going to be the next major change. The next major purchase will be some kind of power station to run a little heater, just to make it a little bit more comfortable in the winter time. And that will also mean I don't have to stop making these videos in the winter. I'm looking forward to getting out there. Hopefully you'll join me in the next video. Hopefully this one hasn't been too boring. It is just designed to inspire you and maybe give you some inspiration to make your own version of the car or camper car, just to get out in the world. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.